Greetings everyone and good day. I'm here at Hillside Memorial Park in Culver City, California. I've been here at least once before. I covered the grave of LA mobster Mickey Cohen. I'm here right now to cover the grave of another bad guy, I'm going to call him. Yeah, I'm just going to call him for what he is. The social revolutionist Jerry Rubin. He was born July 14th, 1938 in Cincinnati, Ohio. He's interred here at the Mount of Olives section. He was the co-founder of the Yippie party, and he was one of the Chicago 7 protesters. You may have heard of the Yippie party, the Young International Party. They stood for free speech, and they were very anti-Vietnam War. I'm not opposed to free speech. And I'm not opposed to war protesters. What I always oppose are the kinds of things they do in the name of free speech and anti-war. The Yippie Party was not, I wouldn't call it a serious political party. It really phased out just about 1972, 1973, and it went to the dung heap of history, along with other political parties that didn't make it. Jerry was born into a Jewish family. He was the son of a bread delivery man and a union representative. But then he got an education. He attended Oberlin College and the Hebrew University in Jerusalem. This guy was no dummy, okay? He was actually quite educated. He got a degree in history. He first protested and picketed a local grocer outlet for their refusal to hire African Americans, and then he started protesting the Vietnam War. Then he joined up with Abbie Hoffman, who founded the Youth International Party, and this is where things got problematic for Jerry's life and his character. Jerry, come about 1968, joined up with other people in the Chicago 7, including Abbie Hoffman and Lee Weiner and Bobby Seale and Rennie Davis, all protesters in the peace movement of that day, which again was not so peaceful. These people could have easily fit in with the Antifa of today, who are just very, very belligerent and violent. No, they could have fit right into them, with them. The Chicago 7 trial was about crossing state lines in order to incite a riot. Jerry and his co-defendants made a big circus scene out of the trial, so there were problems. Eventually, they were all acquitted, and they won on appeal. But he caused other problems, though. Let's walk up to his grave. It's right over here. Now, Jerry led a student strike at the University of California at Berkeley. Berkeley's always been a hot spot for attracting problems. He also unlawfully entered a House committee meeting in Washington, D.C. The committee meeting was going on un-American activities. And being the showman he was, it's his grave right there. Jerry, being the showman he was, he went into the Washington D.C. Congress dressed in a Revolutionary War uniform, and of course he was kicked out. I don't remember what year that was. In 1967, he was interviewed by Joe Pyne, who was Joe Pyne was a TV and radio host over here in Los Angeles. Joe Pyne was, I won't go into detail about Joe Pyne, but he was really a no-nonsense kind of guy who loved to confront people he had on the show. People like Morton Downey Jr. Came along later. He took his lead from Joe Pyne. But anyway, Joe Pyne had Jerry Rubin on, and he got Jerry to admit that he was really a lawbreaker. He got Jerry to admit he hadn't paid income tax in 7 years. Of course, Jerry shot back, well, there are some laws you can break. He said, Joe, would you have obeyed the laws of Nazi Germany? That amuses me, that these social revolutionist rebels in our country always hark back to Nazi Germany, Hitler, and World War II as if the thing is still going on. I don't know. It's what they like to do. It's supposed to be an argument stopper and an argument winner, I guess. Call your opponent a Nazi, call him a Hitler, and your opponent's going to shut up. Well, anyway, Jerry walked off the interview because Joe wouldn't take his crap, honestly. Jerry ranted against capitalism and consumerism, but later on in life, well after the Vietnam War, he started an entrepreneurial business, something about nutrition and health and marketing, and he made some money on it. But he was a guy that didn't like to obey the law. And so he met his end one day in 1994. It was actually November 28th, 1994. It was Thanksgiving weekend, 56 years of age. He was jaywalking across Wilshire Boulevard. I've been up and down Wilshire Boulevard. I know how busy it gets. Jaywalking. So he wasn't even obeying traffic rules and transit signs, and he got walloped. A very ignominious way to die. And that was the end of the great social revolutionist Jerry Rubin. If I sound unusually sarcastic and critical in this video, I am, because I have no pity for people like Jerry Rubin who want to bring positive change to our society but don't think that rules and laws apply to them. And we see it today. Many modern leftist revolutionaries take their cues from people like Jerry Rubin or Abby Hoffman. Folks, let's obey the laws of the land. Romans 13 tells us clearly that the magistrates are God's servants. We should obey them. And Jerry Rubin felt he was above them. But here he is, buried in a Jewish cemetery, along with a lot of lovely and honorable people. But Jerry himself was not so honorable. Live and learn, folks. The way to bring change to society is not by inciting riots and stoking revolution. Not in America, it's not.